Hello, my name is Hannah, and today we are renovating Judith Ward's mansion in Del Sol Valley for The Sims 4. So this is a mansion, a very big house, for the celebrity Judith Ward. She's a famous person who lives in like the pinnacles of Del Sol Valley, so the big lots at the top of like a hill, and it's pretty fancy. But this is the second mansion I made this week, which is really fun. I have some days off this week from school, so I spent 7 hours on another mansion, and I spent 4.5 hours on this mansion. I'm not sure exactly how I spent less time on this mansion, because this one's uglier. Well, like, to begin with, I guess. I don't like the original one. I don't know. It just looks off. It's like not symmetrical, but trying to be symmetrical, so I think that's my issue with the build. But I renovated it because I wanted to finish the pinnacles. Finish renovating the pinnacles, but I actually just bulldozed one of them because I didn't like it that much. I hated it, so I just bulldozed it and built another one in its place. But then I renovated the Bailey Moon house. I didn't make a video out of that one because it took 7.5 hours and I didn't want to edit that. But here you can watch Judith Ward's renovation of her mansion, and I definitely think it's an improvement. Still kept the his and hers master bedroom suites. I thought that was really funny that, Judith Ward is too fancy to sleep with her husband or whoever sleeps in the other side of the house. So that on one side, the right side, she has her an entire bedroom just for her. It's her bedroom, her closet, and her bathroom. And on the opposite side of the house, on the second floor, is like another bedroom, entire bedroom with another bathroom and a closet. It's very fancy, but like that's. Oh, and then there's a butler suite, but that's the only bedrooms, and it's a very big house, so it's kind of weird. But like big house, a lot of living rooms, because the downstairs, I didn't know what to do with part of it, because I kept the piano room, the room with the piano that's like literally the only like part in that room, that's a piano room, and I kept that a piano room, and then I made like 1 or 2 other living rooms. So lots of area to sit and relax. I made the living room that is currently in this house entirely pink and like a slight blue. Like the fireplace and the rug is blue, but the rest of it is bright pink. I thought it fit. She was like, the rest of the house is classy, but this room is bright pink. I liked that touch. Well, I guess I'm working on the outside right now, and I'm talking about the living room. That's fun. But it took me a while to figure out how I wanted the outside to look. I wanted it to look fancy, but I still wanted the whole, like, blue second story, like, stone, stone, first floor. So I kept that, because I liked that. That didn't look so weird. But I made it even on both sides. The back is even, too, symmetrical. It is also even, I guess. But I had a lot of issues. I was like, is this symmetrical? So I kept like counting it. So I counted that a lot. I think I cut most of me counting out. But I made it entirely symmetrical because it helped me, because I was like, it's so frustrating. It's like a block off. So, or a tile, yeah. But here you can see that I'm going through, there's a mixture of city living and base game windows because they look the same. So the 2 and 3 tile ones are base game, but the single tile one is from City Living, and I thought that was so weird, but they're City Living and base game windows, but they look exactly the same. And then I used a Get Famous door, so a 3 tile fancy door, because I liked that, because I wanted to use a Get Famous something on the outside so you could tell that it was a mansion for Get Famous. But here you can see that I'm working on the back of the build, and I didn't like it at all, so I just like shoved it all into the wall, made it entirely flat, and started over. And so the back was kind of hard because I didn't have a base to like go off of, so I just made it like symmetrical like the front, but like different with like bigger boxes. And then I had a really big like double story patio where I don't think Judith would ever go on it. She seems like a person who would go outside like once to twice a week or go to like the fancy clubs. I also don't go outside that often, but like she doesn't go out because she's too fancy to go outside. She can't be seen in public, normally. She has to be all in her fancy clothes at a fancy bar or lounge or whatever that thing is, like Studio BPD or whatever the fancy bar in the town of Del Sol Valley. That's what I'm talking about. So that's where she hangs out or doesn't hang out. And oh, it also says in the description of her, like, well, the description of her or in her family, that like she's had several husbands. I'd say that none of them have lasted more than a couple weeks. Probably that seems like a her thing to do. So that entire wing is just because she don't care about them. She gotta just shove the husband to the other side of the house. It's okay. And then she has like a butler, or like it wouldn't be a nanny, so it would be like a butler who just like cooks and cleans for her, because again, she's too fancy for cleaning and cooking. She gotta have somebody else to do that for her. So here you can see that the back is coming together, but I end up changing it quite a lot from this. So coming together might be the wrong word, but like it seems finished, and then I change it almost entirely because the roof just looked awkward, and I wanted there to be like an area for her to come out in the back if she wanted to, but then I didn't know what to do, so I made it even again, and then put a double story patio. I don't know what I said. Story patio. And then, and also the door currently is not even, but I do fix that at some point. Yeah, sorry if that's bothering anybody. When I try and put the columns, it's like, oh, it's uneven. We'll fix that. And I keep, on the outside, it's just the white and blue and the stone, but on the inside, as I said, one of the rooms is entirely pink, and then the rest of it, I think, is just black and white, or no, like black, white, and gold. So it's fancy. And then I made it more closed off, I guess. I kind of made it closed off, but I don't really know, because the first thing I did was delete all the walls, because I didn't like that. And I deleted all of the wall lights, because I don't like wall lights. They don't light up anything. They like provide a little light. But like I kept the kitchen pretty the same, and I just changed the color scheme of the dining room and moved the area in which it was. Oh, and I also really like this like stair room kind of like thing. Also, I had to cut out me like fixing the entirety of the like house to be one room, because it's not, and it was bothering me because I deleted all the walls to make new walls, so I had to redraw the entirety of both stories, but I cut that out because the camera was crazy, and so I cut that out, so you don't have to watch me placing walls where there's already walls. If that makes any sense. But here's where the dining room currently is, where the butler's room is going to end up. But for a very long time it is the dining room, and then I realized that I have an entire section of the back of the house that I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. So then I made that the dining room, made it more fancy, and put the butler's room in the dining room, if that makes sense. And then the kitchen, as I said, I kept that pretty similar, but I moved the counters so they're against the wall, because I did make it slightly bigger, and then I added upper cabinets. But I liked the style of the kitchen as it was, because it's fancy. She wouldn't go in there anyways. That's the butler's room. That basically it's an extension of the butler's room. Oh, and also into the piano kind of room. That's what I'm gonna call it. There's a lot of archways. There's 8, probably. I think there's a lot, but there's 8. Okay, so you can get into this room from every angle of the house. So I thought that was fun. And and there's also the entire floor of most of the house, except for the living room, was marble, or it was tile of some sort. But I made it wood because I thought it'd be really cold, so I just didn't want to do that. It was I'm worried about the sim being cold. That's what my thought process was. So I made most of the floors wood, but then I left little sections of the black marble, and then I made the walls white, with boarding. I don't know what it's called. And here you can see the pink. It gets more pink, but this is the pink living room. This is the fancy, well, not fancy, I guess this is a fancy area, fancy living room, and it has bookcases on either side of the fireplace, and has lots of seating area with the pink fabric and gold trim of the seating area, so that's fancy. And then just the fireplace and the rug is blue, the rest of it's pink or white, so fancy right there. And I really like this room. I don't know why. It's really bold, but I like it. Originally, I made this room pink as well, but then I was like, that's too much. She would not have this fancy area be entirely pink too. So it's white and gold, and then the piano's in the middle still. So I also rearranged the stuff. I kept a lot of the original stuff in this house, but I just kind of rearranged it, added more to it a bit. And I tried to put rugs places, but I just didn't think they fit. So she can just walk down her marble and wood floors with her heels. That's the fancy part. So she can, feel like fancy, even though she already kinda is. Well, kinda, not, she is fancy. So I put like more lights that you can't like see, because she would pay for like lights that you can't see, because you don't want to see the lights, of course. Oh, and I almost made the tile pink, but I didn't do that. We're not going overboard. I also put some of the stone on the inside because I thought that was fancy. I also didn't do the entirety of the upstairs until I did the entirety of the downstairs again. So yeah, so if anytime I page up, you can just see the abomination that is the upstairs, with so many walls and like stuff moved out of the way because I added like a lot of room to the upstairs. But here you can see that I'm making the dining room a different color, but I kept all of the same furniture pieces in the dining room. I added more, I guess. Here is where I'm making the piano room less pink and more white. It's fancier now. It's more classy, with a view from the second story. You don't want it to be entirely pink from the upstairs, because that's too much. So here you can see that I'm adding like bookcases to the dining room. I'm not sure if those stayed when I moved the dining room to the other room, but I think they do. They probably, at least some of them stay, because it's a big room over there. And then I added a fireplace to the dining room, the new dining room, I guess. And then these fancy curtains are on most of the windows, and I thought that was really funny, because they're like big, extravagant, like white and gold matching curtains. Like, you paid extra for them to match the rest of the house. That's like the top tier famous people. So here's the kitchen, where I moved a bunch of the counters, and then I made the island bigger, because the island looks so small and weird like that. I don't know if that was my doing or if that's just how it was. But here I added upper cabinets because it just felt empty. Oh, and I did this raised part above the window. It took me a while, but I think it looks okay, but I didn't know what to do with it. So that's how it stays. Sorry if that bothers you. But yeah, then I made the island bigger. I don't know how big. That's probably how big I left it. Oh, I made it yeah, so that's the island. It's very big, and then I put a sink and then chandeliers over it, so it's very fancy. And then it has like $13,000 appliances in it, so no fires will be happening in this house. Oh, there's 2 sinks. Oh, there's 3 sinks in this kitchen. Wow, that's fancy. Oh, and this, like, the entryway is with the staircases. I also put bookcases in, because you can see it from the second story, so I thought it looked cool if you could see like the bookcases and the stairs coming up, and it's just fancy and like clean. Like, I don't know how much of this house would be clean, because there's just the one butler, and this house is huge, so you don't know where there's not clean spots. There's gonna be like dust, and I feel like Judith would like throw a fit. Judith would be like, there's dust in this one tiny little spot in the kitchen, you gotta go clean it now. Yeah. And here I'm moving the dining room into this room next to the back door, and the bookcases do make an appearance, so that's good. And then the curtains again. And here I just move everything that was in the dining room into the new dining room and make this the butler's room. It's kind of boring. It's white, like the last house that I built. Just a white room that's really boring. But I decided to put like a desk in here, I think. Yeah, I put a desk in here, and then like there's like a $7,000 painting. I actually don't know how much that is, but I think it's expensive. It's one of the more expensive paintings, I think. And then the tablet, and that's about it. There's a bonsai tree, right? Is that what that's called? Bonsai bush? I don't know. It's a bush that you can like carve shapes into. That sounds weird, like carve a bush, but that's what you do with it. So I don't know. And then there's a chair, obviously. Not obviously, but like there's a chair, you can see that. But here you can see the mess that is the second story. You can see the master bedroom on each side of the house. I don't keep the black and like leopard or cheetah print that is that room, but I also have to remove the columns from here because you can see them on the outside, which I didn't notice at first, but none of those columns stay. Here you can see the entirety of what's the second story. I'm removing all of the walls, making it more, one room so I can redo the floor plan. And then more chandeliers, of course, make it brighter too, because I put like the small lights inside of the big lights so that it was not as dark, because some of the fancier lights you can't see. Like, they're fancy, like, $400 lights, but then you can't see when you put them in your house. Oh, and then I also saved, because, like, I had been working on this house for a very long time and didn't want it to crash. That would have been bad. And then, yeah, here's the fancy overlook. And I added another chandelier, but I made that one too big, so I do size that one down because it's actually in the piano downstairs. If you look like closely, you can see that the chandelier is kind of in the piano from the second story, I guess, because from the first story it disappears. But here you can see that I'm deleting everything. It keeps the same style, but I rearranged the entirety of the bedroom layout. And so they each have very fancy closets and like bathrooms to themselves, and then their bedrooms are obviously huge because it's a mansion. They've got space, so they're gonna have all the luxuries that they would ever want. So here you can see that I made it like obviously symmetrical, so that they're even, because Judith wouldn't want either bedroom to be, well, she would probably want her bedroom to be bigger, but like the house already came with the bedroom that size, so she's like, fine, you can have an even room, but you gotta sleep on that side. And so you can see that I'm adding the bathroom. It's like an ensuite, but there's 4 bathrooms upstairs, and there's only one person living here at the time. So there's like 8 bathrooms in this house, and that's like kind of excessive, but it's okay. So here you can see that I made one side pink and one side blue, so I knew what I was doing, because I didn't know if I was gonna have to stop, because this took 4.5 hours, but I didn't do it in one sitting. I did it over like 2 days, over like 6 recording periods. So I didn't want to forget what I was doing, because I have done that before. So that the big room that's the same size as the bedroom next to the bedroom is the closet. I had a lot of fun decorating the closet because it's a huge just room for clothes. I don't think I would ever want that because I don't own a lot of clothes, nor do I like fashion that much, so I wear boring clothes. Oh, I do make it somewhat smaller because I'm like, the bedroom is the same size as the closet. Why would they have that? So I made it slightly smaller. Still a very large closet. It's like a walk-in, like, changing room. Like, and it has like shelves of shoes, and then like hangers full of clothes, and then there's like ottomans like full of like stuff everywhere. Like, this person has a lot of clothes, and it's like very expensive clothes probably. So here you can see that I'm adding the Get Famous ones, so very top-notch clothes, and there's a lot of shoes in this room. I'm like, because like obviously the shoe rack has shoes in it, and then on every single one of the clothes ones there's also shoes, so there's a lot of shoes, but they're like the same shoes, because like there's only 2 swatches of the gold one, and there's 4 of those things in this room, or no, there's 3 because I deleted one, but then there's 2 things of shoes, and then the 3 other clothes things have shoes in them, so there's a lot of shoes. I just talked about shoes for like 30 seconds. So here you can see that I finished with the master closet. Oh, and then I cut out the bathrooms upstairs. And I also forgot to do the bathrooms downstairs until after I stopped recording. But they are on the gallery with, stuff in them. So the the like husband's side, or like whoever, like the other person who might or may not stay here, bedroom is fairly boring, I think. Oh, I did leave it like darker, I think, because I don't know. And then it's very fancy white and gold wallpaper, and you can see that he has about the same layout for the closet because I didn't know what to do otherwise. It's different, obviously, but it's like darker, and it has still like gold in it, but it's mostly like black and white and gold, so it's cool because it can't be pink, because Judith wouldn't have that. Judith seemed like the person who'd be like, no, it can't be pink. But here you can see that I'm putting like dressers in it because more clothes space, because you can never have enough clothes space. And then I finish up his room. I put like a bookcase and then chairs because I don't know if they would ever sit in the chairs in the room. They're mostly decoration, but there's just bookcases. And then I put like paintings. They're kind of weird looking, but it's fine. And then I put like some basic decorations just everywhere. And then I put like a fireplace and like bookcases outside. the room. Okay, and so it's almost screenshots time, so I post 4 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, so you can watch another video on Saturday. Bye.